Hi, everybody. Welcome to My Other's Keeper. I have with me a new guest for me. Their name is Indigo Twin. Um, they go by they, them. Please forgive me if I don't get it right. They have promised that they're going to forgive me because I really am trying. I'm just old. Um, anyway, they are new guest, but not new to the channel, fortunately, and they have graciously decided that they would be willing to talk about um, therapy and why they go to therapy, what they get out of therapy, that sort of thing. And I think that's something that we need to demystify, even for those of us in this chat for whom therapy, I think, is generally accepted. Anyway, so hi, Indigo. Nice to see you. I appreciate you coming.
Hello. Yes, I
So
appreciate you having me.
tell us a little bit about yourself. I'd love to have everybody learn a little bit about what you do, what country you're from, or part of the country you're from, that kind of thing.
Sure. So, I'm 34 years old. I'm from the Midwest, United States, Chicago area, but born in Denver. I was adopted, um, so I grew up and have lived in Chicago area my whole life. Currently, I work as a mailroom coordinator for my company. That's a life insurance company. Which I never thought I'd be passionate about life insurance, but that's another thing that a lot of like therapy that a lot of people don't know the value of it. Um,
Hi,
let's see
Daniel.
what else.
Nice to see you.
Oh, hi Daniel.
Hey,
Hi
Crystal.
Crystal. Um, but yeah, I'm a creative person, so I love writing, coloring. Adult coloring books are the best thing they ever made. Um, So the only question I ask myself in the hours that I color, because sometimes I'll be like, I'm just gonna do this for 15 minutes, and then it's like 5 hours later is what color? What color am I putting here? And then I'm like, should I
Yeah.
do this color or this color? And then it just like lets my brain turn off because I'm a constant planner, a constant lister. I cannot
Mm,
turn my brain off. So um, I think
excellent.
I think that probably comes from childhood when I was, like, super driven and just
Yep.
had more structure, I feel like, as an adult. Jason P! Hi,
Yes.
Jason. A roommate
Yes,
from
we've got
Mary's. Thank you, Mary.
Mary,
Um,
Jason, Misha, Crystal, Daniel, Sandy, Wandy. Ooh, awesome.
but hi, Sandy Wandy.
Oh yeah.
God, the chat suddenly just blew up. That was awesome.
Woo! I love it. I
Woo!
love
But yeah, so, like, I like to do I like to do art as a fun thing. I don't lump it in with what I consider therapy because my
right.
creative outlets are like, if I made everything a therapy tool, I wouldn't have, like, anything for myself. I mean, the therapy is for myself, but not in the same
Right.
way. Like, with my art, I can share it with people. Mostly, I want
Yeah.
to collaborate and share it with people. Um But yeah, I love
Okay. So it's
cosplay.
like me with my art, I can, well, first of all, I sell it because if I make it I just have too many pieces. Um, but yeah, it is something that I do to feed my soul. It's not something it's like, okay, it's therapy time. Let's go do art for an hour. It's not quite like that. So
Exactly. Yeah, it's
yeah.
like I'm a writer as well. I like to just create stories.
Oh
Um
wow.
a lot of the time, like, so people will ask authors like J.K. Rowling or George R. R. Martin, like, who did you base this character off of?
Hmm.
I never base a single character off a single person.
Hmm.
Mainly because at a young age, I was like, I would like to publish. If I ever became even slightly well known, I would like the anonymity of saying, sure, this is based off of people in my life, but multiple
Yeah.
people. Like I might see
Yeah.
how my friend, like I have a friend who, once their attention is on you, they have to give it 100%. Like they can't have a single
Mm.
distraction, otherwise, we'll both lose the plot. um,
Yeah. They're just
I
gone. Yeah.
I have another friend who just has restless leg syndrome, so I might take like, oh, the friend with restless leg syndrome, I might give a character that, but I'll be like, they're a high-powered lawyer, which I don't know a lot of high-powered lawyers, right? But I'll take like bits and pieces of people or accents or whatever to build the characters out to make them
Yeah.
dimensional. Because I think a lot of people look at writing books, they're like, it's so easy. I'm like, it's not. There's a lot of research. There's a lot of like, I'll get a character. Sometimes I'll dream about them, and then they'll come so clear in my mind, but I don't know their story.
Ah.
And so
Yep.
then I'm sitting there like, what, who are you? You know? So
Yep.
yeah, so that creative process of like digging into the character and the story and collaborating is a big thing I like to do. I think you become better when you collaborate because people will give you feedback, or I don't know, just have people getting excited about what you like to make is nice too. Like you could
Oh, for
make
sure.
a million statues, but if everyone in your life is like, whatever, it's just another sculpture, like, would you be as excited?
Absolutely. No,
You
I
know?
was. Some of you know that my mom's been visiting. Some of you may not know that my mom's been visiting, but Mama is at my place. And actually, she's not in the house right now, but we did some painting. And I'm going to say together very loosely. She told me the colors to use. She told me the technique to use. I'm just the one who put it on the the canvas or the glass or whatever we used. So yeah, it is really nice because every time she looked at it, she's like, "Oh, that's the best thing I've seen." And then the next one would come, "Oh, Kim, I love that. That's the best thing I've seen." So yeah, just you're right. The enjoyment of other people, the engagement of our chat here, the engagement of people just in general. We are created as human beings to be communal creatures. We're not created to be isolationist. So I think it's important that we are. So, how would that, or does that at all fit into how you approach therapy?
Yeah, so typically if I look for a therapist, it'll be
Mhm.
thank you. It'll be for a specific reason to start with.
Okay.
So my first that's my roommate.
Hello, roommate.
um, so in my 20s, that reason he's already like, no. In my 20s, that reason was I was in a bad relationship.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to work through this. But then I went for that, and the therapist was like, I think there's more. And so it's like kind of like art, you never know what you're gonna end with. At least I
Yeah.
don't. I could start writing a story, and then halfway through, the story writes itself. It takes it a direction I didn't plan, right? And I think that's
I thought
what
that was just
I've
me.
learned with therapy is you're not no. I mean, I'll only speak for myself, but yeah, definitely. Um, I could start a project and then it's ends somewhere else, and I'm like, "Why? Where did that come from?" You know? So, um, and I think therapy is like that because you're not always gonna be aware that there was an issue in the
Right.
past.
Yep.
So I originally went to a therapist after my bad ex because I was like, I am definitely traumatized. Like I have
Hmm.
hypervigilance. I can't sleep. I had other stalkers, not him, and other people stalking me at the time. So I was like, there's just too
Whoa.
much. Yeah, and I
Wow.
say it kind of like I realize now when I say it like, oh, that just happened, right? And people are like, back up. That's
Yeah.
like a lot in that chunk. Um, but then on top of that is when my medical issues started. Like the 6 years it took me to find a doctor that would listen about my thyroid problem, which ended
Mm-hmm.
with an operation to remove cancer. So it's like I feel like these big gravity things happen to me
Wow.
so close together
Yeah, you're
that,
so young.
yeah, I'm just processing things like now that happened almost a decade ago because I just didn't have the time to sit down and be emotional about it.
For sure.
That sounds really terrible, but like when
No,
you're
it doesn't.
in an
It
abusive
makes total
relationship
sense.
and you get to the point I got, yeah, yeah, right. I mean, like I was like, okay, logically, I'm in a bad relationship. So what do I need to do? I need to get out of it. Um, that meant I had to pay a fee to break my lease. Now, post 2018 in Chicago, if you're breaking a lease early for domestic violence reasons specifically, you can get a court to waive the fee.
That's
But
amazing.
that law was not in place. It's 100% amazing, but that
Oh,
got passed literally like 4 months after I left my situation.
oh.
Um, I left that situation after, so I basically, I look back and I I'm like, "Oh, I made some mistakes in that situation," but, um, I basically leave, or I'm planning on leaving. I highly in fact, therapists will often tell you, like, keep that close to your chest. Don't,
Mhm.
like, come right out and say, um
Yep.
yeah. You know what? And I feel like that's what people don't understand about trauma is that it takes time internally for you to feel the emotional impact of what you've been through.
And it's not
Um, I
linear.
almost use logic
There's
as as like a crutch.
yep.
Mhm. Ups and downs. And for
And side
example,
to
so like
sides.
I
I mean,
actually
like
lived with an abusive roommate. It's like one of those carnival rides I can't go on because I have vertigo that flip you every direction possible.
mhm.
It's the ones people get off and they're super dizzy because 'cause they've just been flipped 4 different directions. I went on one of those
Mhm.
rides once and I got vertigo. Then I was like, "Oh, I can't go on those rides." But that's what my 20s felt
Yep.
like. I would see all these TV shows showing kids graduating high school and going to college and partying and just hit like, like living their best life or like whatever. And I was like, if I'm not working, going to school, or literally sick in bed, there's no time for party. Like, also, I'm not
Yep.
like the let's go get drunk at party person, but I couldn't be in
Yep.
college because I was having health issues. And so I,
Oh.
people would go out to I would go out to parties at my friend's house a couple times, but like when I drank too much, it would be like way worse for days. Like people would be like, "Are you sure you don't have alcohol poisoning?" I'm like, "No, I think I'm just like always ill." Like it just didn't react well with me. And so I
Wow.
stopped going to parties and I would just be like, "Anyone want to hang out and watch movies and just like eat pizza and chill?" 'Cause, like, I was just like, I feel like I know getting drunk feels horrible, but to me, even in my 20s, it felt like I actually can use this analogy because I was in a car accident where I got T-boned. It's like I got hit by a truck and then flipped upside down on a carnival ride. That's how it felt if I got too drunk at parties. Like, And so I just wouldn't
Mhm.
go, or I would be the sober one, making sure my friends didn't overdo it. And then,
Yeah.
people would be like, "Well, when do you have fun?" And I'm like, "Low key fun?" Or I don't know, what I think of
Yeah.
as fun, other people didn't. Like, that's why I sort of got into cosplay, because it was like, okay, I can mix and match clothes in my closet, or I could learn how to make a simple skirt or whatever. And like, that's fun because then I can go to this convention with my friends because we all like this show or we all like this book. And then I get to see other crafters make amazing things and talk to people. And like, to me, that was like a party, right? And like, I look back in my 20s and I'm like, yeah, I did some young, dumb stuff, but like, I didn't have the privilege to be young and dumb. Like, I
I'm just
almost had
writing
to
a note
be
on
super
this for
focused
myself.
internally.
I'm writing a note for myself that in October we should have a show on cosplay with you and Christina, who's been on my show a couple of times because she has a cosplay
Ooh.
channel. So yes,
Oh, she
exactly. That's
does? Oh,
exactly
I
what I
need to
was.
talk to her. Okay. That's why.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's, yeah, absolutely. So
Oh my gosh,
Mary of
Blessed to
Blessed to
Crochet. Yeah,
Crochet
Mary's like, they
can
need to
totally
talk.
put you in touch with Christina. Yeah, absolutely. So no, I should totally have you guys on in
Yes,
October.
I'm down. Well, um and I need to find my old photos of cosplays and stuff and maybe stick them in a panel video. I have to redo a lot of mine because after my surgery, I gained a lot of weight, and my
Mhm.
previous costumes no longer fit me, and that's another thing, a reason I went to therapy. There, see, we're
Mm,
peeling the onion, right? The
mhm.
never-ending onion. If my onion is the size of the universe, that's how I feel when I go to therapy. I feel like,
Wow.
"Oh, I'm making progress on this ring," and then the therapist is like, "Well, what if the onion had a baby and now we're talking about something completely out of left field?" And then I'm like, I guess we could open a new door? A new can of worms?
Yay!
Isn't the can of worms analogy, like, so true?
Yeah. Hola, Maritza.
Or
Yeah.
or whatever. Oh, hi, Maritza. Um, but yeah, so I originally went to therapy because I was like, "Oh, I had a bad ex." And then that therapist was like, "You know what? We've started talking about your mom and your bad roommate." And she's like, "I think you've had PTSD
Mhm.
way longer than you think you have."
Mhm.
And then I was like, "Oh, look at that. I have to move and get a new therapist." Like, when I was younger too, if
Oh.
I wasn't ready to hear something, and I don't do this anymore, like, kind of after 25, I decided the next office I walk into, I'm gonna say the cold, hard truth on every single form. So, like, "Trigger warning, sensitive topics are being spoken about in this video."
You want me to should I put
Okay,
up a banner? Because frankly, yeah,
yes.
I've got the banner.
But specifically for what I'm about to say, so that
Yep.
bad ex led to a point when I was 27 where I was just like, "I'm gonna delete myself." And I
Yep.
decided to try, and I felt the euphoria that they talk about, you feeling the 2 weeks or however long before you attempt. At the time, the
Mhm.
suicide hotline was not 3 numbers, it was a whole ass number. I called, I did not get a good experience that night, and I still attempted. But after 27, when I walked into the next psychiatrist, and the form was like, "Have you ever attempted, or do you have this ideology?" I was like, "Yes, I've been in these situations. I've been on the." I just like went ham, telling the truth on every single question I possibly could. And
Awesome.
ever since then, I have gotten the help I need, but um, it's scary to tell medical professionals the truth, because even though they give you better medical, they'll keep a way closer eye on you, and they should. I'm not saying that that part of the system isn't a good thing. I'm just saying that, like, I realized if this situation with my ex hadn't happened, I could have still gotten to that point with something else because it's something inside my head, inside my body chemistry. I kind of look at my ideology as like it's always there. And what therapy does for me is it dials me back. It goes, okay, if the thoughts are always here on a scale of wanting to versus not wanting to today, where are we? And with these tools, going down that thought process, like I want to live, right?
Yeah.
That's there's others. I mean, like I said, you uncover more and more the more you go, and the more thing. And then when I graduated college, and I was like, listen, I need your help paying for this service. I can't afford it, and I need it because my parents are like, why do you need therapy? I'm like, because I don't want to be here right now, and I know that's wrong, and I know that it will get better, but right now I don't care. That's the crux for me. It's when I hit the point where I know it will get better, but I don't care, that I'm like, okay, something needs to change. Like I need a different therapist. And that's the thing, guys, is therapy is a tool. It's not because you go in broken already. It's not because there has to be something wrong with your relationship. It's a tool, just like you use a hoe in your garden, or why isn't this charging? Oh, this is a bad time for this to happen.
Oh, okay. So while Indigo's gone, let's just talk a little bit in the chat about experiences that we've had with therapy. I know that I'm going to admit something to you that I don't frequently admit. I am not always honest with my therapist, mostly because I have a hard time being honest with myself. And while I am trying to be honest with myself, I just feel so much shame for things that are part of who I am, a part of how I act, are as a result of so many traumas that have happened over the years. Talking to my psychiatrist, thank you, Crystal. Talking to my psychiatrist recently, though, she commented, we did the assessment to see whether or not I currently have PTSD. And you have to have a minimum score of 33 in order to have PTSD. And this is the same scale that you would have for PTSD in Canada, United States, whatever. It's the DSM-5 PTSD, whatever that scale is. And so we did the assessment, and we found that I have 31 out of 33 to have PTSD. And that's because I was finally being honest with her. Yeah, Jason's right. After 30 years, he's recently decided to give, I'm assuming it is therapy, another shot. He's felt rushed, contrived, and he felt like a number. Hopefully this time around, it will be a better experience. We'll see later in September. Absolutely. It takes a lot to be able to where you can be honest with yourself and others. It does eventually come. And what my
Yeah.
psychiatrist says is that because of what I've been doing here on My Other's Keeper, being able to talk with other people and help guide other people through problems, and like not on this channel, but I've met people through this channel that I will phone them like a couple of times a week and say, hey, how you doing? And just as often as not, they'll say, oh, I'm having the worst day ever. So then I'll help them with the calming techniques that I've learned over the years and listen. And that feeds my soul. It's not that I'm trying to be a therapist, because I'm not. I'm simply telling people the tools that therapy has given me, and it reinforces in my brain all of those lessons that I've learned through therapy. So, Indigo, is your connection any better now than it was?
Am I back? Am I back? Sorry,
are
that was
back.
a really bad time to have my computer do
That's
that,
okay.
guys.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay.
I decided to do a monologue.
I was gonna, because I realized what I was talking about. I wanted to be like, I'm still here. I'm okay.
No,
But yeah, I was just listening to what you were saying, and what I was saying. I know. I was like, okay, we were just talking about my ideology that my computer decided to try to shut the call off. No, that's a bad timing.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say, I because I've noticed in the chat, when you go to a therapist, you're paying them for a service.
Mm-hmm.
If you get paired with somebody and they're not the right fit, you absolutely have the to say so. And now, I mean, it is tricky, and I have been accused of medication seeking in the past, but I'm like, when you're talking about things that have given you night terrors, that have prevented you from having relationships or caused you to have to end relationships because you realized through therapy that that was not healthy, like, it's absolutely okay to have different therapists throughout your life.
Absolutely.
I know it's not always easy. Every country, every state is different. But since my 20s, I've had maybe 5 therapists, maybe 2 sessions. Psychiatrists can. So basically, I had to go to a talk therapist. They had to be like, you have CPTSD and some other stuff. Let me recommend you to go to a psychiatrist. And then I got that in my life. Now they don't work for everybody, and everybody has different things going on. But for me, it worked, and like, they changed my life a lot.
Yeah.
What
Indigo,
helped
I'm
me,
going
I
to
guess, get
I'm
out
going
of
to
my
turn
head
your camera off, because I think
about it was,
no, you have to turn off your camera, because I think then you shouldn't be
because
stopping so much.
medication gets a bad rap. Maybe.
There we go. Okay, let's see if that helps at all.
Maybe that
Are
will
you
help.
still there? Yep, yep. Let's try that. So let's go back to your idea of, I think you said medication gets a bad rap. Is that what you were
Yeah,
saying?
I'm still here.
Okay, good.
Can you hear me still?
Yep. We can still hear you.
Okay. Oh yeah. Basically looking at medication as a tool is what helped me be less in my head about it. It's a tool, guys. If the tool doesn't work, if the tool gives you too many symptoms, you go back to the doctor and you say, "Hey, got too many of these symptoms. Is there another
Mhm.
tool that we can try?
Yep.
Be upfront with your I am now I call it, I went from having a doctor to a medical team. All of my
Yep.
doctors that are currently covered are in the same medical uh Northwestern medicine.
Nice.
That happened because I needed a new primary doctor. I got one that was in Northwestern. She sent me to an endocrinologist who is also Northwestern. Then I got paired with so I'm lucky I was able to get a medical team that's all in the same hospital
Oh,
um
yeah.
umbrella, for lack of a better word. But if they're not, get those records that they're asking for and give them to the doctors that need to see them, and tell the doctors to talk to each other, because if your primary isn't talking to your psychiatrist, isn't talking to your therapist, or doesn't understand what you're working on, it cannot
Mhm.
serve you the best way for
Mhm.
what you need. That's just the truth. And like, unfortunately in the US, it really does depend where you are. Like, another thing that affects everybody is, are you employed? Are you on Medicaid?
Yes.
Like, what it's worth sitting down with somebody you trust in your life that will um be able to handle it. Like, I have a couple family members, like my mom is great with monetary help. She's great with I don't know, coming over and doing the laundry for me or whatever, but she's not great with the details and the emotional support part of medicine.
Yep.
And so currently, I had to sit down rather young in my 20s and be like, "Okay, Dad, can you be my medical contact?" My sister's 8 years
Awesome.
older than me. I went to her and I'm like, "Hey, Dad is like in his 80s now and you're in your 40s and I'm in my 30s." I'm adopted. I'm 8 years younger than my sister. But
Okay. I was
I'm like,
thinking, wow,
eventually.
that's quite the senior dad.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I was adopted by them when they were in their 40s, early 50s.
Oh,
And my
wow.
sister was
Okay.
already 8 years old at that point. So, it's like,
Okay.
I know my dad isn't gonna be around forever, so I sat down with my sister, I'm like, "This is what my situation is. I'm
Yeah.
chronically in pain, I have chronic illness, this is actually how it affects me."
Yep.
And the more that I talked about my experience and about what therapy did for me, I had no idea until she went to therapy and told me, "Hey, you got me to go. Like, thank you for talking about it."
That's
Because she had her
wonderful.
because there's so much stigma, right? People look at you like, "Oh, you're in therapy." It's changing very slowly. Um, yes, and that's something that you'll learn, unfortunately, I feel like the hard way, is it's hard to
Mhm.
tell who's in therapy for the genuine
Yeah.
so there are genuine therapists who have to go through red tape BS to help you.
Yep.
And then there are people who just want to push you through their door, medicate you, and check you off a list.
Yeah.
If you can find someone who's the first option, they will stick with you and fight for you to get your best possible choice. Now, in the US, I don't know how it is for like the UK or Canada, but in the US, a lot of times big pharma punishes uh like insurances by saying like, "Oh, we no longer cover," even though we know medication X could be the best for this condition.
Mhm.
Like, it's no longer gonna be covered by insurance. So
Oh, no.
doctors have to go through these gymnastics of figuring out, do we have a combination of meds that do what
Yep.
that one med did? Or let's go through every single possible symptom you could have and fail you
Mhm.
on every single possible
Yeah.
medication we could try until the only thing left we can push for you is medication X.
Yeah.
So these are
Oh,
all the
wow.
challenges that people go through, like, just to have chronic illness. I'm surprised more people with chronic illness aren't in therapy just from that alone. Well,
May
like
I
I said,
ask
I am.
what chronic
Monetary.
illnesses?
How far do you live away? Yeah.
Sorry, may I ask what
Um,
chronic illnesses that
so
you
I
currently
well,
have?
see, there's slightly right now, my doctors have agreed that I at least have a nerve-based condition.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know which one, but they
Oh, wow.
finally believe that I'm not fainting on couches for no I'm not like, having
Yeah,
fits for no reason. Exactly. Yeah.
right.
Um, so that's the red tape I'm talking about. Is I had throat issues for 6 years almost. I would take videos, I would be like, "Here's photos of what my neck looked like," and the thing with doctors is if they're not available, my throat would, because like, with thyroid, um, my case was that the cancer was making my thyroid hyperactive. So I actually didn't gain any weight until my 30s. I was
Wow.
like 130 I was 5'4" and 135 pounds for, like, most of my 20s. Well, I wasn't
That's what I
34
was
for
like
most of
all
my
through high
20s,
school.
but
I was 5'4" and about 130 pounds.
and at some point I was like, "It doesn't matter that I'm working all these hours at Starbucks. It doesn't matter that I'm in my 20s. I feel like I should be gaining weight, and I'm not."
Mm-hmm.
And, the hyperactivity caused nodules of liquid to, like, form on my thyroid, so they would be visible from my throat because it would push out. And so I would take photos of my throat. I would track, like, at one point I
For
had
sure.
a roommate I live with. I'm like, "Can you just measure my throat, like, when I'm not swollen, and then, like, measure my throat when it is swollen?" So I have something to take to them because of what would happen is it would swell up. I would immediately call the doctor like, "Hey, something's wrong." Then they would be like, "Well, we don't have an appointment for 84 years." No, it felt like that, like from
Yeah.
Titanic, "It's been 84 years." It felt like that. They'd be like, "We don't have an
Yeah.
appointment for 2 weeks." Okay, well, 2 weeks from now, is the swelling there? No. So I had to track all this, and then I had to go in, and then, I did get pretty far in the tests, but then my doctor stalled on getting the biopsy. Like, he would not issue the referral for the biopsy, even though I went to 2 separate endocrinologists at that point to get so one said, "I'm concerned you need a biopsy," and I was like, "That seems ridiculous." Went to a completely different one, and they're like, "You need a biopsy." And then my primary at the time just would not, and at that point, I was not in a PPO, I was in an HMO, which means I could not go to a specialist without referral. So he wouldn't refer me, and then the tests aged out because with, ultrasounds and scans, they're only good for 6 to 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
So then I was like, "What should I do?" And my friend's like, "Well, you're exhausted at this job. Why don't" my roommate actually, "Why don't I refer you as a possible, um, interviewee for my job? By the way, I'll get a referral bonus if you get hired." And I was like, "You know what? F it. Maybe I just need a new job, new
Yeah.
insurance." Bingo. Also, I only have 2 male doctors. My endocrinologist is male, and my psychiatrist is male. My
Mm-hmm.
primary, my gynecologist, literally everyone else is female, and that and
Mm-hmm.
under 70. Female and under 70 has completely changed my personal experience with the medical field. But, all this
Yes.
going because I got tired of people telling me I was too young. I was like, "That doesn't mean
Yeah.
JS, man," It doesn't mean jack shit.
Yeah.
My
No, that's right.
age. I am telling you, like, not normal stuff is happening to me. You think I don't live with myself 24/7? And
Yep.
that's the thing I have to grapple with, right? I know what me before this was like,
Mm-hmm.
right? I lost that version of myself in this process and
Yeah.
also went to therapy to figure out how do I mourn? Okay, I'm not physically dead, obviously, but
But
me before
parts of you. right? Entire
And
chunks of who you are have been
yeah,
destroyed. Oh,
yeah. I
wow.
mean, me prior to all this, I used to just go out with uh oh, I'll just go out with people to gross dis gross places, no second thought, like drink whatever, it's fine. Um Now, like for example, me and my roommate have to go our separate ways eventually. And I'm like, okay, well, I can't just go on Roommate Finder and get a random roommate because
Yeah.
I have to have things clean in a certain way for my health.
Yep.
And I have to my eating is not what people consider normal. Like I don't eat breakfast anymore because I have to take one medication in the morning with no food and then I have to wait up to 2 hours before I can eat. By that point, it's 9 to
Hmm.
10 a.m. 9 to 10 a.m. So having a
Yep.
big breakfast that close to lunch would be ridiculous. Then I have to eat
Foolish.
lunch at the same time every day because I have to take a certain medication after I eat lunch. And then I have to eat
Hmm.
dinner at a certain time because I have to have my multivitamins and literally everything else I have to take as far away from my morning medication as possible. So it's like
Oh,
my
wow.
entire life from how I eat, how I sleep, how I leave my house to go have fun changed and I didn't get a single say in it,
No. And
you
no
know?
option to even
And I look
change
at
how it
I
works.
no, and I'm crying right now because 'cause I'm like, "Damn, that's a lot."
Oh,
You know? And then people would be
my
like,
heart
"Oh, well,
goes
why
out
can't
to
you come to
you.
my party? We planned it in advance." And I'm like, "I'm in too much pain." When people say, people who are diagnosed with fibromyalgia and still get
Hmm.
up every day are amazing. But once you have a
That's Mary Jones
diagnosis,
right there.
people
Yep. That's
people
Mary from
react
Bless to
so
Crochet.
different. Yeah. They like, when your doctors are treating you like a medical mystery and you don't have a diagnosis, you can't get help, you can't get different treatment at work. People look at you like they're mad at you for canceling going to their party, but it's like, "Okay, if I woke
Yeah.
up today and can't get out of bed because I'm in too much pain, it's not you and your party." I have to tell people it's really not you, it is really me. And I've had to figure out how to manage things on my own. Like, I have beautiful friends who have, like, medical MJ cards, and they get me medical gummies because I haven't gotten my own medical card yet.
Right.
Like, some nights I sleep because I take weed before I go to bed, and that's the only
Yeah.
way I go to sleep. And then it's like, I spend all of my spoons going to work and coming home. And then I felt great 3 months ago when you said you wanted a party, and now the day of your party, I feel like shit.
Yeah.
So, you
Absolutely.
know, yeah, so
Yeah.
that's no. I didn't get to be young, dumb, and 20, you know?
No.
I had to completely fight the medical field to even get to where I am at 34.
Yep.
Like, I'm just now living my life, you know? Like, so many people
Yeah.
in our community have similar and the thing that, people go, "Oh, well, can't you just get treated?" And I'm like, "No.
And even the
Can you
just
tran
get
can you"
treated
I'm
is
like
so
I'm like
complicated.
I'm like I'm like, "No, can you transplant a new nervous system into my body?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that will help me at this point is if you could give me a whole new nervous system." Oh,
Yeah. Okay. This is me giving
it's
you a big hug right
that,
now.
and I think without therapy, I don't know that I would be able to be like, I'm still so angry.
Hmm.
Like, I don't spend a lot of
Hmm.
time dwelling on that because I'm actually quite a happy person, but I'm just so angry. It's not even for just me. Like, I had a
Hmm.
friend around the time I got diagnosed with my thyroid cancer who said her boyfriend, okay, this is another thing the medical industry does. If they think you're overweight, they will not consider any other issue that you have legitimate until you lose weight. And I'm like, listen,
Absolutely.
that's dumb. That
Mhm.
is dumb as rocks. Like,
I had a very
happened to
good friend. She was
my friend's boyfriend had stomach problems. They told him
my roommate many years ago was quite
yeah,
overweight.
your
I
friend?
was very underweight, and she was the one who was considered unhealthy. She was in better shape than I had ever been, but she was the one who was unhealthy because she was large. When in fact, the truth was, I was the one who was unhealthy because I was too small. Although I didn't look too small
Yeah.
because I am built my body shape is that even when I was at my slimmest, I still had to wear size large pants because that's just the shape of my body. So my doctors didn't think
Yeah.
of me as being too small. Anyway, so
Are
yeah,
you a
the
cute little
whole weight thing.
pear? Are you like a pear shape?
No, I'm a
'Cause
total
I'm an hourglass, but
yeah, same here. I'm an hourglass. That's
oh, yes, yeah, see, and then, I had to grapple with body dysmorphia because, again, all
oh
I
yeah,
heard when I was, like so there were a couple years in my 20s, I literally had to tell Starbucks, "Do you want me to come to work today?" Like, today I didn't throw up and no longer have a fever, but I've been sick for 2 months, but I
yeah,
could come in, like, I could work, I don't have any foodborne illnesses or things I
yeah,
can, like, give to people through food service. But it
yeah,
yeah, people would be like, "Oh, you look so great, blah, blah, blah," and in my head, I'm like, "I am literally, like, so sick right now," and then the
yeah,
minute I gain any healthy weight at all, it's, "Oh, you gained some weight." I'm like, I
yeah,
have to. If I was 34 and 135 pounds, I feel uh, like, at 5'5", you know what I mean? Like, it's like you never know what someone's going through for what is going on with them. Like, I have a friend whose partner was basically told, "Well, if you lose weight, your problems will go away," and it turned out he had, like, stage 3 colon cancer, and maybe if they treated him seriously from the beginning, they could've it wouldn't have gone to stage 3, but because he was too fat or too heavy or whatever, like, they need to stop messing with people's lives like this. Like,
yeah,
that kind
absolutely.
of negligence could kill probably has killed someone.
Oh, absolutely.
And we have to fight for ourselves because people are like, "Oh, you could get a medical advocate." I'm like, "Why?" I am.
Yeah,
No one did
yeah,
this crap. My dad, who kinda worked in the medical field, as soon as he came with me to appointments and was kind of using medical terminology, doctors treated me a lot more seriously, but I was like, "Listen, he's not gonna be around forever. Like, you need to listen to me. Why would I come in and lie to you about what I'm experiencing? Do you think that I want to have been sick?" I counted when I was 24, I got sick 13 times in 12 months.
ooh, wow.
Could I
Jason
call
has a
off
very good
work
point. A
13
cured
times?
patient, sorry,
No.
pardon?
Is a Oh, is a lost customer. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. It's not a healthcare industry, it's a sick care industry in a lot of cases, unfortunately.
because you would think too, like, if you give people the tools to be healthy well, and that's the other thing,
Yeah,
is just because a food is labeled as healthy doesn't mean it's healthy for you specifically.
right. Yes.
I
Yeah.
can I can eat peanuts, love them. My friend has
Mhm,
diverticulitis, can't eat peanuts to save their life because it makes them sick, you know?
mhm.
So,
Yeah. At
yeah,
my
that's
doctor's
true, Sandy.
practice yeah, at my doctor's office, I think they give you a 15-minute time period. So sometimes all you need is just a prescription refill. It takes you 30 seconds. You're out. Great. Um, but there are times when I come in because I haven't been able to get in for a long time. I'm like, I have 3 different things I need to talk to you about. These 3 things, each one is important, like, so yeah, there are times when I make my doctor go overtime
So
with myself. And then there are times when it's like
I will
moments. So yeah.
I will say this for Dr. K. I won't use her full name because obviously I don't
Yeah.
know. But I walked into her office before they sent me to the endocrine surgeon, and she looked at my neck and she goes, "I'm sending you to the endocrine surgeon," was the first words out of her mouth. Before she introduced herself. She's like, "I can already see there's a problem." The two after she said, "Hi, I'm Dr. K," she goes, "What do you want from me?" And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "You're paying for a service. What do you want from me?" And I said, "I want to
Wow.
find the reason for this. You
Yep.
can scan me, you can prod me, you can biopsy me, you can, I don't know, put me in a medieval torture chamber, whatever you have to do to find out the
Yep.
actual reason for what's going wrong. Because I know there's
Yeah.
something wrong. Because there was a me before this went wrong, and there's a me after this went wrong, right?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
but the way changed my way of looking at doctors, and
Hmm.
unfortunately our system will, if you doctor hop too much,
Yeah.
they'll see you as a problem. But honestly, if the doctor you're going to is not listening to you, you don't have to pay them.
No.
You could try to find another doctor covered by your insurance. It might be a little difficult, but if the doctor that you have, you've tried 10 different ways to ask for help the same way and they're not listening to you, you are paying them to do a job. And if they're not doing it, you don't have to stay.
Hmm.
Because when she told me that she wanted to help me get what I wanted, I cried because I never had a doctor say that to me before.
Looking for the cause, not just the symptoms, right?
Exactly. Hmm.
Hmm.
I said, I don't want to be on 15 medications because you're treating symptoms, and now the like 5 of those 15 are just to counteract others of the, I really
Yeah.
feel for people going through chemo. Chemo sucks on so many
Hmm.
levels, and one of those levels
Hmm.
is, here's a medication to help with the pain. Oh, that's conflicting. Here's a medication to help that conflict. So by the time, you know, you fight your
Yeah.
way through and hopefully go into remission, you have to have someone manage those meds for you because you don't even remember what each one does or doesn't do.
Yep.
It's exhausting. I tell people, like, medications are expensive. Without insurance, I couldn't have like the 2 or 3 that
Oh,
I
no.
absolutely need every day,
I should go get my medication card. And
which I
when I
think
say it's
should
my
be a
medication
crime.
card, it's a card full of a bubble pack. So each it looks like a little book. And so the one side tells you what the name of the drug is and what the shape of the pill is and strength, all that information. The other side is the actual pills. And I think I'm on like 13 or 14 different prescriptions every day. So, but I can tell you what each and every one of those does. It's not, this is reacting to this side effect to reacting to this side effect. They each do have a purpose. I just happen to have a very complicated medical history.
Yeah.
Yeah. How you doing, Indigo? You still there?
Oop.
Okay, I don't. Are you still there?
Let's see. All these medications can have also cause lasting damage
Mm-hmm.
because you get so used to having to take all those medications. And then, I mean, this is ridiculous. So, I do not recommend this to anyone who wants to keep your sanity, who has chronic illness. But out of curiosity, and I could not have them.
Oh, I'm sorry. We missed
Like,
we missed a portion of that sentence.
I wouldn't be
You
able
cut
to
out there for a
even
moment.
get close. Oh, no problem. I just said, like, I looked up what my medications would cost without insurance, and I wouldn't even come close to
Oh,
being able to have any of them without
same
insurance.
here. Same here.
For
Yeah.
example, this is a life hack I learned from an allergy group. So EpiPens are good past the 6-month mark as long as the epinephrine is clear. They will tell you to re-up them every 6 months. Without insurance,
throw
they're
away.
over
Yeah.
$120 for 2.
Yep. Yeah.
With my insurance, they're now up to $114.75. So as long as that
Wow.
liquid isn't cloudy, you can, carry them with you. If I have not had an allergic reaction to, like, the 2 things I'm deathly allergic to because I usually stay away from them or make it very clear at a restaurant. Can you remove
Yep.
this or can you cook it elsewhere? If the answer is
Yep.
no, I just eat something else. But
Yep.
just imagine if I wasn't on an insurance plan that was covering it for me, I would just have to Russian roulette my life and be like, "Oh, I just hope there's no lime juice in this and that I don't, like, almost die if I accidentally eat it." And the guy who made
Absolutely.
EpiPens wanted them to be free.
Yep.
Him and the guy who discovered insulin, they wanted those 2 things to be free and readily available. The guy and I think he actually went to federal prison for raising the price of insulin by quadruple the amount at 1.4 years ago, and people said, "You are killing people." And he got taken to federal court and he got in trouble, but yeah, like, so scary.
Sorry, somebody just came into the room and I'm getting them to go get my meds so
Can you
I
say
can.
that again? I missed that part.
Sorry, my mom just came into the studio where we're at, and I just asked her to go to my
You're good.
bathroom to grab my meds so you can see what I take every day. And it's
Oh my
kind of
gosh.
daunting.
Yeah.
It's kind of daunting. One thing that happens a lot is the stigma of taking medication. And the self stigma of taking medication is huge in that. Thanks, Mom. Yeah, thanks. So, like I was saying, this side tells you the names, the dosages, and everything like that. Look how many there are. There's a few. And then this side shows you all of the different pills. So, this is breakfast. This is what I take for breakfast, and this is what I take at bedtime. So,
Is that just like AM, PM?
yeah, this is 1 week. So this is morning, this is lunch, supper, and bedtime. So yeah. Oh, I'll tell Mom you say hi. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I was in my 20s, and luckily, like, I'm like,
Yeah.
if you absolutely have to give me a pill, I
Mm-hmm.
will take it.
Yeah.
But only I will jump through every hoop. Not really, because if I actually jump through a hoop, I might trip over my own feet and fall down. But like metaphorically
Happy-
speaking, I will be your circus animal if it
Yeah.
gets me the answer that I need.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Oh my god, that is absolutely insane, Mary.
Isn't that just disgusting?
And people wonder
1,800 a
why
vial.
it's that is only $300 more than my base
Oh, wow.
rent. And that's not just and then it's like, what if more than one of you in your living situation or family has more than one medication? I really feel bad for so many people.
Yep. I cannot
Oh,
imagine
man. That's
how
rough.
much money this would cost every month. I could not imagine how much that would cost me. 1 week would cost me probably more than what my husband makes in a month. My guess. That's just a guess. I have no idea what the actual price is on things.
And see, that's the thing is, I was talking to someone and I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna move back in with my parents eventually."
Mhm.
Because I have a deeply intuitive feeling from the last 6.5 years that
Mhm.
whenever they, scan me or look at my brain or whatever, that they're gonna be like, "Oh, you have this other insanely intense chronic illness that's gonna need more medication." And
Mhm.
literally, like, moving back in with my parents would mean that I could not only afford my medication with insurance, but I could also go out and live my life more. Like, I'm only isolated because I don't have a car by choice. In the city, it's really not worth it
Right.
to have a car, but, like, with how tired I get, like, this is why I really, weigh how many times I can go out and protest a month because it's not just my mental health, it's my physical health. It's also why I don't live stream when I protest. I'll talk to
Yep.
Wendy or I'll be more than happy to be on other people's streams. I'm fine with that.
Right.
But I have to spend so
So
much time, being present in my body. Do I hurt right now? Am I pushing myself past a limit that if I try to
mhm.
add now I'm walking with a phone in my hand that's recording something in a crowded
Yeah.
city, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So people don't know about your
that's why I don't
protesting.
stream. But
This is People don't know yet about your protesting. Let's talk for just a moment on that. One thing that Indigo is super
just a
passionate
tiny
about
minute.
is just a little bit. They've done a lot of investigation and research into Scientology, and they really, really love being able to mess with that industry. So I'm not going to call it a church because it's not,
I
but
do, yes.
yeah,
It is
but
not. It is a scamming. It's a scamming
it is
business is what it is.
absolutely. But because I have people on with firsthand experience with things, Indigo is not going to be talking about their research into Scientology, but you can go to their channel. And Indigo, do you
Yes.
happen to have a link to that you can put in the chat?
Oh, you know what? I forgot to send that to you ahead of time. I will, possibly maybe I could send it to you for your community page.
Sure.
Because I have stuff in the works right now that I have to sit down and actually record and post, but so I don't have videos up yet,
Ah,
but I'm getting there.
okay. Okay, excellent. So yes,
Um,
when that happens,
yeah.
I will definitely have your link in the community pages. Go support Indigo's YouTube channel. It'll be under Indigo Twin, and it is going to be something pretty powerful because they are very, very passionate about this. Um, it's something that they are able to really dig their teeth into, and I really admire that. So Indigo,
Yeah.
I'm going to suggest that right now we're going to be done for tonight, but I will
That sounds
have
good to
Indigo
me.
back. I'll have Indigo back to talk about CPTSD, about
Yes.
LGBTQ, the alphabet that is queerness these days. I will have, I'm thinking in October, I definitely need to have
Yes.
you and Christina
The
on
soup.
about cosplay. Yes. I'm pretty sure she'll agree to that.
Yes.
You guys can compare notes. And yeah, I am really looking forward to having you back. And I'm really hoping we
Yes.
can actually
I'm
see
looking
you
forward
next
to it too.
time.
I just yes.
But or we can find a
That's
photo
another
to
thing I
put
have
up
to
of
get
you.
the
Yeah.
yes.
All right.
Yes.
So thank you
Either
everybody
way.
for coming.
And then I just wanted to really I
Oh, you cut out again.
sorry, just really quickly wanted
That's
to
okay.
say if you want to give my info to Awakened, it looks like they were saying more about their husband in the chat. So if they want
Yes.
to
Yep.
reach out to me, go right ahead and send that to them.
Absolutely. Will do. Will do. Okay. I will make
Oh, you're
sure that
welcome,
do you want
Crystal.
me to give them your phone number or your email address? Or both?
Here, let me put my you know what? Let me see. I don't know. I don't know if they have Facebook. Let's go with email first. And then
Okay.
if they email me, I can connect with them.
Perfect. That's perfect. I will definitely do that. Alrighty. So thank you everybody for coming. This coming Thursday night, the 12th of September, will not be live because I am going to be presenting about mental health at a women's halfway house for women going from prison back into the community. But I will have a pre-recorded episode of Kristen, Melinda, and I talking about breakdowns. Sorry, I'm looking at my calendar here, what we're going to talk. So yeah, Kristen, Melinda, and I are going to be talking about breakdowns, which is going to be just a nice segue from today's conversation with Indigo. What they are, what to do about them, what
Wow,
they
that
can look
fits
like,
in.
because they're going to be different for everybody. So yeah, it's going to be incredible. I have to say, I'm really excited about that. So good evening, everyone. I will see you on Tuesday,
Evening, everyone.
but have an awesome night. Bye bye.